How about now? Okay. Hello, hello, hello. I hope everybody can hear me. Thank you for coming to the studio this evening and here and helping me paint that guy, an alien gangster. Okay, I've been on a little bit of an alien kick. I think they're fun. I think they're hysterical. Maybe this is the last one. I've got others queued up. Maybe I'll do them at some other time, but who's ever here, thank you for joining me. I appreciate having you here with me this evening. I've got a sheet of bao hong paper here that I cut myself. You can see it's not really straight. I did a bad job. This is a bao hong professional grade 140-pound watercolor paper. On my right-hand side over here, I've got my M-gram paints. Still pretty messy from last week and painting over the weekend. Not really straight on there. I've got some water up over there. I'm going to be using a series of brushes, probably mostly my King Art brushes, and I think, come on King Art, there you go, King Art brushes. I think with that I'm about ready to go. Got a few decisions to make before we get into it. CDK says, I love them. They are fun. They are fun. Yoki Toast. Welcome, Yoki Toast. You excited to see this one? I'm excited to see this one too. To see where this comes out. I don't think I've seen you on this channel before, so if you're new here, and I believe that you are, there are a couple of rules to follow. The first one is just be nice to everybody. We're all here to have fun doing some watercolor painting. And the second one is, there's not really a second one. You can ask me anything. I love talking and answering questions about things as I'm painting. That's why I do this. So if you've got a question about how, why, where, when I've painted or started painting or anything like that, about my art philosophy, any of that kind of stuff, happy to talk about that. I love talking about paper, love talking about brushes, I love talking about paint. So any questions you've got, just throw them out there. I'll talk about them. Yes, I'm stalling just a little bit because I'm trying to figure out what color I want to make his suit. So it's kind of a dull gray there in the reference photo. And I don't want to make it a dull gray color. I think I'm going to give him a blue suit. And if I give him a blue suit, can I keep the beige hat? I guess I can keep that hat with a kind of a blue gray suit. Let's get a piece of paper here. I got one down here. And let's see if we can make a nice color for his suit. So I'm going to start with a nice phthalo blue here, and I'm going to give it a little bit of Payne's gray. And let's see what color that does for a suit. Is that a gangster suit color? Let's do a little bit of phthalo blue with some neutral tint in it. See if that gives us a good gangster color suit. It's a little brighter. I don't think gangsters have bright color suits, do they? That's like a darker blue. That's a gray blue. That's a darker blue that I think we can probably get away with some of this if we put even more of that neutral tint in there. Let's do that. Because that's going to give us a good color range. Let's use this. A nice, look at that. That's a nice dark colored suit. Let's use that. Phthalo blue with a little bit of neutral tint in there. Let's go with that. Yokito, it's not my first time. I dropped in during the Puffin one a few weeks back. Okay, cool. Stumbled upon a channel in recommendations. Oh, I'm glad it's being recommended. I highly recommend the channel, but YouTube doesn't always take my recommendations. Oh, and I guess I should say, we're not just on YouTube. We're also simulcasting over to Twitch. So hopefully anybody watching over on Twitch will say hi. It should pop up on the screen right about there somewhere. I've also got a window open. Hopefully we'll be able to catch somebody if they throw something in chat. And I'm going to jump in here and start laying down a little bit of color with this nice blue suit. I don't have any idea if gangsters wear blue suits or not, but I'm a little reluctant just to make a full gray-brown suit. I want a little bit more color than that. So we're going to give him a blue suit here. And while I'm doing that, hopefully you all are coming up with some great questions to ask or something to talk about. And if nobody has anything to talk about, I'm going to continue to talk about the things I talk about. I should say I'm just putting on some color here. I'm not trying to do anything specific, not trying to do anything other than get it in everything that is his suit here. Whatever is part of the suit, I want to give it some color. We'll come back later and we'll really start defining the wrinkles in the suit, the look of the suit, how it folds, how it looks, the dimensionality of it. I'm just looking to get a basic color on there right now, fill in some space, and take up a little room here. If we do this to start, it really helps for you to see. I feel like I'm saying a lot tonight already. It really helps you to see the image as it comes together. I feel it does that. Let's see if we can give a little bit of blue inside of here. Cool. There's part of his suit right there. Has anybody done anything fun this week? I had yesterday off. I live in California. Everybody knows, or maybe not everybody knows, lots of people know I live in California. So I had yesterday off because it was a Cesar Chavez holiday. I'm not saying anything about Cesar Chavez other than the fact that thank you for the holiday. I know he's been in the news a lot recently. Not worried about it one way or another. But it has been canonized in part of California life. And because it was, I've got an extra day off for the year. So thank you for that. Let's see. Oji-san is here. Hello. He said, howdy, Michael. Awesome to catch you again. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you found your way back. Just like last week, Oji-san, if you have any questions about anything, throw them out there. I love talking about things while I'm painting. You will probably see me as I have to concentrate. I guess you'll see me. I guess I should say it. You'll hear me stop talking. I guess you'll see me stop talking too. But for the most part, I love answering questions while I'm here. And Oji-san, I don't know if you made it right at the very beginning. This is just a light mixture of neutral tint and phthalo blue. I'm giving this guy a blue suit instead of the one that is there. That's kind of a brown, gray brown. I thought that was kind of a boring something. What brand of paints am I using? Wonderful question. I was going to say I only use one brand of paint. That's not really true. I have plenty of other paints. And I've tried many paints out, and we can talk about what I like and what I don't like about most of them if you would like. But the paints that I'm using this evening, the paints that are always going to be on my on my work surface are M-Gram paints. I love these paints. They re-wet quickly. They have some very vibrant, intense colors. Some of the colors that I have purchased years ago and have never had to refill as a color because they just last so long. Great value for money in that they are highly pigmented, and each tube goes a long, long way. A long, long way. It really does. I can tell you all of the colors that I have here. I'm using, at the moment, a mixture of phthalo blue and neutral tint. And I'm using phthalo blue because I like phthalo blue. It's a nice, strong, powerful blue. It stands up to quite a lot, and it mixes and plays well with others. I don't think that all blues necessarily play well with others, but phthalo blue does. If you look at my palette, actually, I can do this. I don't have to tell you. I can do this. Where are my palette colors? Somewhere. There you go. There are the colors that I have on my palette. So I'll talk while that is scrolling around. So I have turquoise, which is a delicious blue color. I think maybe delicious is a weird way to say a blue color, maybe, but it's a fantastic blue color. It is probably the blue that I have on my palette that I use the least and that I like the most. And yes, that's a kind of a weird way to say it or to think about it, but it is. I love the color. It's just kind of an oddball color. Then the phthalo blue that I have right next to it, and next to that is ultramarine blue. Yeah, I had to take a look for just a quick second. Ultramarine next to it. Everybody uses ultramarine. Super useful, super versatile color. Then I have next to that cobalt blue, which I have gained what am I trying to say? I've gained a respect for. I had it on here and I kind of went, it's cobalt blue. I'm never going to use cobalt blue. I typically used the color next to it, which is cerulean blue. But cerulean can be a little opaque and can get a little chalky from time to time. So I started using cobalt blue, and it's a fantastic color. It's a lovely color. So that's cobalt and cerulean. Then I have cobalt green, and then phthalo green. Then I have an olive green and an azo green. Now, the azo green of my greens is the least used one there. It's a very bright, vibrant pop of green. Where's my sheet? Here's my turquoise. Oh, look at how lovely that color is. Oh, so nice. But again, I use it the least. And then this azo green. Ooh, a lovely color, but man, is it bright. It's if you use Daniel Smith paints, that's called green gold. Then I've got what I call my neutrals over here. They're not specifically neutrals, but they might as well be. And you could kind of throw my yellow ochre in there too. But I've got sepia, I've got neutral tint, and I've got Payne's gray. So those are over there. Those are mixers. They go in with everything else. Starting up at the top, way up here is cobalt purple. Cobalt violet. I shouldn't say cobalt purple. Cobalt violet. Then maroon perylene, alizarin crimson, pyrrole red, quinacridone rose, burnt umber, azo orange, gamboge, and I guess that's Hansa yellow. It's a bright yellow. Those are the colors I use. And most of those are going to be impressionist colors, or many of those are impressionist colors. I guess that's kind of why I started with it. But then I put something in like the cobalt green. because a lot of the green where I live is kind of that cobalty color. It's the green where I live isn't necessarily a green. It's kind of a brown green, and it's easy to mix that with that cobalt green. Let's see. Oji-san, M. Graham, I'll check those out. I've been playing with watercolors, primarily Brusho. Oh, you're going to like this. Brusho. I've got my own Brusho. Pack of 12. I love Brusho. I absolutely adore my Brusho. But Brusho is difficult to work with. Way difficult to work with. It will overtake everything if you allow it. It is it's completely out of control. But it's fun. It's interesting. What do you do with Brusho? I'm just curious. Oh, heck yeah. How do you use your Brusho? I'm going to give him a brown hat here. I think we can still do that. You know, he just picked up a hat. He's got several hats. He's a gangster, right? He's got a whole room probably of fedoras. He just picked one out up on his way out the door here. So it doesn't necessarily go with his suit, but it's not going to clash with his suit either. And that's my story about this guy, and that's what I'm sticking to. And again, I want to get some colors on here, just to cover up some space. I want to make sure that we're coloring in these larger areas with some wonderful color, and we can come back later and add any detail to these if we want, or we can start adding it now. Makes no difference. Or should make no difference, I guess I should say. We should be able to handle it either way. The thing I have found though with this, and I'm watching because this is slightly damp here, and yes, I do move my page quite a bit. I have found with these lighter colors, when I mix them, especially the burnt umber, that you get a couple layers on, and there's a potential for it to start lifting on the underlying layers. So I'm always a little cautious about layering my browns on too heavily. All right, it's a sedentary color, and it can just sit on top, and then you brush over it, and it could come right back off. So that's it. Brusho is great. It's just knowing when to stop. I use it for washes over your acrylics. Okay, cool. I typically have used Brusho for large backgrounds. I'll wet a large area, sprinkle on some Brusho, move it around a little bit, and then I kind of just go, whew, I'm done with it. Now my leftover color here, I've got some of this color left over. I'm going to use this slightly brown, slightly tan color. And this is going to be what I use for the white of his shirt. I don't like white. Sudike, you can attest to that. Sometimes having that white really makes me a bit nutty. And I'm like, no, I don't want that way. And I have to go back at the end of the painting and readjust and change colors and do all kinds of stuff. I don't want to do that. I just want to take a little bit of the bright color off of here right now. So I'm going to put this on. This will dry very light, very light. We probably will have to come and put some more color on many of these areas, and that's okay. That's totally fine, but I want to get some color on right now. This comes right down around his tie. Let's get a little bit on this other side over here. I should say I move my page a lot. And I used to be very self-conscious of it because I would watch YouTube and I would watch, other media and artists would get on there and not move their page. They'd just leave it in one position, and they paint around, and you'll see their hand going this way and that way and everything. I don't do that. I'm not a classically trained artist. I've taught myself everything I know how to do. And when I was learning, one of the things I had to do in order to get all the brush strokes was to turn my page. And so I never learned really to paint with my brush just kind of, or my page just kind of being still. I can do it. I guess I can do it. I just don't like to do it. Okay. Whew. All right, that's a lot in a very short amount of time. So got a few things to do after this. All right, here's what we've got to do. We've got his hands and his face, obviously, which are green. We're going to get to him. But we're going to do the same thing we did last week, is we're going to come back over his jacket, and we're going to start putting in some color along the major lines where where's my blue pointer pen? My blue my blue pointer brush, where there are some shadow areas. So along the lapel here, maybe we'll put a small line to show the stitching of the pocket, but definitely along the lapel. Inside the coat jacket where the vest is, there's a darker area in here. And on this side, down here, a lot of this area is dark. Back in the recesses here where his elbow is behind that gun, same thing on this side. There are going to be some big darker pockets, and we want to get those in here. And the sooner we can do that on here, the sooner we can make sure that we've got the right dimensionality to it. I talk a lot about dimensionality, right? It's one thing to make something flat. If you're painting a landscape or something and you see a row of trees that are a mile away and you're painting them, it's kind of okay to paint them flat. But something like this where you want it to stand out, you kind of have to have that 3D-ness to it. And so I like to kind of push the limits a little bit. Oji-san, I went to high school in California, Paso Robles High School, class of 90. Yep, I'm old. Class of 90, you are younger than me. Sudika's going to say, you're going to call that old? He graduated in 71. There you go. There's a few old timers kicking around this channel, and that's okay. We all admit to it. We all are accepting that we're, getting on a little bit. That's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I'm going to. So here's the one issue I'm going to face. And it's a big one. And after I tell you, you're going to go, whoa, you're kind of a moron. Why did you do it that way? Here's the thing. Phthalo blue is a staining color. And so if you don't get it on the page right and you end with a tide line, you could be in big trouble. So I've really got to watch. I'm going to start down here because I'm feeling a little less brave than maybe I should. That's okay. Let's put some color down here. This is underneath. Oh, you can't even see it so far down the page. Look at that. This is underneath his vest. There we go. This is trousers. His pants are all the way up there. It's nice to know there are still some respectful you folks out there, Sudike. You got me there, Sudike. Nice to be the youngster in the room. 1971. Sudike, you got me beat for sure. For sure, but I don't think it matters. We speak the universal watercolor language. That's all that matters. All right, so I'm going to do this. Now watch, I'm going to do this. I've put some color on. I love doing this. Is one of the things I really like to do. And I'm doing it backwards from most people, but I'm going to put the color on, and then I'm going to put some water on, and that's going to allow that color to flow out a little bit. Right? And that's going to, look at that. Boo! Just like that. Now, if I get this just right on this side, all of a sudden, now, and I don't want perfection in here. I don't need perfection. Perfection is, if you listen to me, I'm going to tell you, ignore perfection. Perfection is a construct designed to make you miserable because you're never going to get there. So don't even try to get the shading perfect, right? Perfect. Whatever perfect is, don't even try. It's not going to happen. But make it cool. Make it look interesting. Right? I'm going to put a line down the side here. Hopefully it's not all the same as it goes down here, right? Maybe I want a little break in some area, a little darker, a little lighter in some area. It's just going to mean there's maybe like a little ruffle in there or something. Look, all of a sudden now you're going, okay, cool. That stands apart a little bit. It's getting there. Oji-san says, I'm a 70s kid. Heavy Metal magazine was my whole childhood. Wow. I remember Heavy Metal magazine. I didn't read Heavy Metal magazine. I had friends who did, saw it a lot. I would not have been welcome at my house growing up. That's all right. I did, and I still think my mom is shocked about it. I did, what was I, 12 or 13? No, I must have been slightly older. Did I do it I think I did it for Boy Scouts or Weeblos, whatever the one that might have come before Boy Scouts was Weeblos. I had to do a baking, what do you call it? A merit badge. And I still remember, I saw a picture of it not too long ago. I made a cake. It was green and had the KISS logo on it. I'm sure my mom was thinking, what in God's green earth is going on with this child? All right, there we go. Look, that lapel is standing out now, and that is exactly what we want. I love that. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Now, if I want to do a little bit of a larger area, I might have to pre-wet the area and kind of do this, I guess what I would call a bit more of a standardized way. But if I'm just working in a small area, I can usually pretty well control the color that goes on and where it's going to start, where it's going to stop, where it's going to end. And I don't have to worry too much about tide lines or it running around a little bit or anything like that. But if this were a large area, I might have to consider. Thought I should change my ways a little bit. Federal agent is here. Hey, yo. Welcome back. I know you've been here before. Great to see you. Federal agent, are you a big Alien fan? Oh, wait. There's a federal agent here because this is an alien. An illegal alien. Probably doesn't have papers. So federal agent is probably here for that. No, I don't. I'm just playing with you. I'm just playing. All right. I'm just going to continue to drop a little bit of color on here. Looks like this is a problem I have. Alien Capone. There you go. I like it. Alien Capone. This is one of the issues I've had with this palette. Is that on the sides of this, my paint can just drip out a little bit, and so then it drips and runs all around my paint tray. And I see this has done that, and it bothers me to no end. Wish it wouldn't do that. All he's missing is a nice cigar. Okay. So when I originally thought this image up, this obviously is an is an AI generated image. I wanted to have a reference photo that I could really use to make my drawing from. There he is. The original image had him holding a gun in one hand and a cigar in the other, and I went, I don't want that. I don't need the cigar. So I dialed it back and went, just let me try the gun. But Yoki, maybe you're on to something. I should have gone with the first thing and let him have a cigar too. I don't know, man, that's probably my fault. But that's okay. That's okay. You know what? We're still going to end up with something that looks fantastic. In the end, I'm going to get a little darkness in here. I'm going to use my, what is this color? Sepia over here to darken this up a little bit. He's got a dark spot underneath his hat here. So a lot of people will use, you know, a blue to darken things up, or a purple, a neutral, something like that. I don't necessarily think there's a need to do that. Not necessarily. It depends upon the shadow that you want to project. This hat is all, it's not a bright color, but it's a warm color. I want to keep that shadow kind of warm, so I'm going to use some sepia in here and keep it in that brownish family rather than go to a blue color just in order to get a shadow on there. And I think I'm gonna, well, as long as this is wet, I can do a lot with this color. Is my head under the camera? I can do a lot with this. As long as it's wet, you can go back in and you can manipulate this color all you want. You really can. It's really a cool thing about watercolors that you can do that, especially with this higher quality paper. It's easier to do. So I'm going to make sure that's a little darker, and I think it looks a little better as a little darker shadow in there. All right. Did you freehand or use a projector to draw this layout? I don't use a projector. I do from time to time use a light box. But it ends up being a mix of a light box and freehand drawing. So for most of my things, there's probably going to be some of both. If I don't think I can get my drawing right, I'll do bits and parts of it with a light box. If I think I can, then I make every effort to do my drawings freehand. Sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes it's not easy to do. I do make every effort to do as much by hand as I can. Let's see. Come on out of there, blue. Let me tease some of this color out. The other thing I do a lot of, you'll see me doing a lot of, is I go into my water and I grab some water and I put it on my brush and then I'll dab it off. And anybody who's never seen me do that before is probably going, why would you put it on and dab it off? Why would you put it on and dab it off? I'm trying to get to a consistent color. I'm sorry, not a consistent color. I'm just consistency of water. I know basically the amount of water I want to have on my brush at any point in time. And if I continually dip back in the water when I think it's a little too dry, for me that's a good thing. And then I can dry it back off if I need. And if it's too wet, then, or if I think the values that are on it aren't quite right, then I can get it wet and reset and go from there. And I got some water on his hand now all of a sudden. It's just a matter of trying to get the moisture level right in the brush and on the page. And that's not something anybody ever taught me. That's kind of something I've kind of figured out on my own to do. Everybody who paints watercolors kind of goes, oh yeah, of course you need to have the right consistency of water. And it's like when you went to high school, Oji-san, you went to high school and people went, oh, you got to study for this. And then you go, oh, okay, cool. How do I study? And they go, well, you should know how to study. You're in high school. Hang on, really? I don't know how to study. Nobody's ever taught me how to study. Well, you should know. Well, nobody just knows. Give me some good techniques on how I do that. Would make everything a lot easier. Do we have a puddle of water over there? We do. So I'm just looking, I'm looking up there at my reference photo, and I'm trying to see if or where I've got some darker values in here. I'm trying to put a couple of those on, and then I'll just pull that out a little bit when and where I need to. And if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's still right. Doesn't matter, because in watercolors we have every opportunity to do this again and again and again. We have even more opportunity if we don't use phthalo blue, which is, as I said, a staining color. It makes it difficult. There we go. Okay, that's cool. I can live with that. That's a little pocket there. I just dive in and play, then I figure it out. That's kind of a cool way to do it. I won't ever complain about somebody doing that, because that's a great way to learn how to do it. Right? I'm going to use a lot more neutral tint in here than blue, and I'll do it over here. I'm going to darken up the inside of his jacket here, the inside of his sleeve. I guess I took two. I took one watercolor class twice. I took them at the local community college, and let's just say it wasn't the best experience in the world. But the first instructor, quite a famous artist in his own right, and if you listen to him, he was friends with Jasper Johns, and he knew Jackson Pollock and some of those new era of artists that came about in the 50s and 60s. He was one of those guys who was like, well, you just need to figure it out. Just do it and figure it out. And so he would give everybody an assignment to do. And his assignments for watercolor classes, I kept a few of them because I was like, nobody would ever believe this. His assignments were about 3 pages long. The first page was this weird history of things, and the second page was what you should actually do, and the third page was kind of a self-rubric so you would understand what you had done. And I always looked at that and went, nobody in their right mind is going to be able to know what they do to this. And he would sit up in class and just look out like this. And if you tried to ask him a question, he'd go, well, you should experiment and try it out. And if you can't figure it out, ask your classmates. And I kept going, this is the worst way to teach somebody how to paint. No examples, no explanation of what's right or what's wrong. Just kind of go out and figure it out and talk to your classmates about it. I'm like, Nobody's ever going to pass this class. I don't know. I don't think I ever checked what my final grade was in his class. I don't think I did. I probably didn't do well. I know the second class, I retook it at some point in time. That looks a little bright to me. Does that look a little bright? That looks a little bright. Let's bring that down a little bit. Let's put some of the sepia in there and bring that color, that value down just a little bit. And now here's something you can do. If you don't like it, dry your brush off quite a bit, and you can push that color right back into wherever you want it. It's wet. I can push that color right back in. Just tell it, I don't want you to seep out at all. Get right back in there, and then it'll just go right back in there like it's nothing. Better than nothing. I think that's pretty good to go over there. I do need to, or we need to, I guess I need to, but we need to balance our hat out. Right? It's the weird thing about shapes. Whatever side that the highlight is on, we need a shadow on the highlight side. You can't have something just on one side, or the eye looks at it and goes, that's weird. I don't understand what you're trying to do. I'm going to let that dry. And then I'm going to do the same thing as I just did there. Just put a little shadow on there. I'm just pushing this color back. That's still wet. I can push that color around all I want. And I think I'm almost to the point where I've got to paint some green. Let's do that. Let's paint some green. What do you say? I'm going to go once again. It worked out last week. I thought it was a great green last week. A little cobalt green. A little Payne's gray. That's going to be our basic green color for this guy. Hopefully it's going to be something like that. Ooh, look, glad we checked. That's better. I like that green better. And let's dive in with this. What's wet down here? What can I get my hand on? What can I not get my hand on? Everybody's just watching now, right? Everybody's just watching. Somebody's got to throw out a question here. Somebody's got to ask something. I need to be a little distracted while I'm doing this. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it hinders. Oh, I got quite a bit of paint on there. I can probably pull this color way out. I'm okay having quite a bit of this color on up above his eye, up there where his forehead and his brow are, because that's kind of in quite a bit of shadow over there, but I think it's a bit dark for everything else. What color are you planning for the tie and pocket square? Not the question I was thinking anybody was going to ask, but it's a great question. Any suggestions? As I'm sitting here in a hoodie, you can tell I'm a fashion icon. I know all about color matching and everything like that. At least with clothes. I guess I could manage it with watercolor paint. What color tie? I probably was going to do a black tie, but I think maybe red would be good. It would be a nice pop of color. But I guess I hadn't thought quite that far away. Do maybe red. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Yoki Toast. Is watercolor my only medium? Yes, watercolor is my only medium. I got into watercolors because I could set up quick and easily. I could clean up quick and easily. I could make things look the way I want them to quick and easily. Watercolors were the first medium that I tried, and I fell in love with them and never felt the need to branch out from there. So yes, watercolors are the only medium that I paint in. Do alien gangsters like martinis? You'd probably order hypnotic. I would think now alien gangsters would really like a martini. I don't know. It's a great question. Would have to say yes. No! Wait. I was going to say, no, they would like a Cosmo, but I was thinking Cosmos. I think Cosmo is not named after the cosmos. It's named after Cosmopolitan, which is not the same thing. I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. They make a Martian teeny, right? A Martian teeny would be my guess. Is that a thing? It's got to be a thing, right? Or did you put that? No, it just says martini. A Martian teeny would be my guess. I don't even know what hypnotic is like. It's like a. Oh, it looks like my light went off behind me. So I don't have a light switch in the studio. I have a motion sensor. And because everything behind me is a giant mess, I put up my green screen behind me so you can't see what a giant mess I have back there. But as a result of that, it blocks the motion sensor from me. So during live streams, oftentimes, my light goes out behind me. If you can see that I don't have a light on. It is a vibrant blue color. Yeah, yes, the hypnotic, right? Yes. And it's in some weird bottle too, is it not? I think I remember that. I'm going to try to be more worldly probably than I am. Yes, yes, of course I remember that. I don't know that I've ever even tried it, to tell you the truth. I don't hear any pecking on the wall. How are the girls doing? So, who's asking that? Sudike. So if you had been here for the half hour or so before we went live, you'd have heard plenty of pecking on the wall. Because Frida is making everybody nuts and pecking on everything. Yes, it is still happening. It is, well, it's dark right now. I have a skylight over there. It's dark right now, and so the girls have gone to bed, I am certain. But they are okay. Two things I'm going to tell you. One is that Cha-Cha has hurt her leg somehow. I don't know how, and I'm not happy about it. I don't think it's anybody's fault. I think she was just jumping around and hurt her leg, and she's limping a little bit. So they're still able to free range, but they can't free range quite as much as they used to be able to free range. So that's one thing. And the other thing is something that's really kind of cool, is that I went out to gather eggs today, and there was a soft egg. And when I say soft egg, I mean an egg that had no shell or no hard shell. Before that shell solidifies into a shell, the shell is just a membrane, and the hens excrete a kind of hormone that then tells the or I guess it directs the calcium to start solidifying around the egg as it's inside them. And for whatever reason, and I have to believe it is Dahlia, because Dahlia has had problems with her eggs in the past, laying soft eggs. So I think it's Dahlia, but I got an egg today that had a completely soft shell, whole thing intact. You could see the yolk inside. You see the albumin. It just looks like water in there, but you could see the albumin. And I could pick it up. I could pinch it and pick it up because that's kind of what happens. So it was really an interesting, freaky, weird thing, but kind of cool. If that makes any sense. What a way to say that, huh? All right, here we go. So we're getting his arm on here, the sleeve of his jacket. This is not his arm. It's the sleeve of his jacket here. He's got a few ripples and wrinkles in here a little bit. Let's give him one down there. Maybe a little bit more over here. But that kind of looks like he's got his arm bunched up. It looks like that, like his arm is bunched up a little bit. I think, anyways. There's a few. This was a little damp when I put this color on, and the color kind of went out in streaks. I'm just going to grab a couple of them. Oh, I think that's good. I like it like that. That's good. Look at that. Oh, look at that shading back there. It looks so good. So that's the chicken report for this evening. In general, the girls are doing good. I did get 4 eggs today. 5 girls, 4 eggs. Apart from Cha-Cha having a little trouble, they're all good. Living the good life. Living too good of a good life, probably. They are so funny. I love my chickens. I absolutely love my chickens. They are the best. They are the best. Does anybody else have chickens? Anybody else want to make any chicken or chicken adjacent comments? What do I do with all the eggs? I find different ways to eat them. So obviously I'm not eating all of the eggs, right? I couldn't do that. My cholesterol would be through the roof, but I eat at least 2 eggs a day. And I think everybody in the house probably eats a couple of eggs a day. 3 eggs a day, 2-3 eggs a day. Okay, maybe everybody's not eating a couple of eggs a day. Maybe I overestimated there a little bit, but everybody eats eggs. It's one of the things that everybody in my family can agree on is a fantastic food. Different dishes: fried, scrambled, omeletted. My wife makes a wonderful shakshuka. If you've ever heard of that, it's kind of a Moroccan egg dish. It's fantastic. She does a wonderful job with it. Egg salad, fantastic. Deviled eggs, oh, wonderful. Deviled eggs, oh, I don't know who invented. I don't know what devil invented deviled eggs, or why they're called the deviled, but man, are they good. But we do also hand some off to our neighbors and relatives and whatnot. What'd you, son? We had 2 chickens back when my kids were young. Mrs. Cluckington, I love it, and Cheesy or Chi-Chi. We didn't really know better, but it was feeding them was. We didn't really know better, but I was feeding them way too much egg-laying feed. I will feed mine whatever they can eat. The egg-laying feed now has 16% protein in it, and it's supposed to be just what they need, and they should be able to live on just that. Ours free range quite a bit throughout the yard, and then like tonight when I got home, I opened up a can of canned corn for them. They all love canned corn, and so as a treat, they'll get oftentimes some canned corn, and they absolutely go crazy for it. It's like crack for chickens. Canned corn. It is crazy how bonkers they go for a little bit of corn. And I don't know why that is, because corn wouldn't necessarily be something in their normal diet, right? It's not like they're going to be walking through a field and go, oh, corn, oh, let me just have some of that. But they go absolutely bonkers for it. And so for me to come home after work, it's a wonderful thing to sit down and offer them some corn and watch them just go crazy and eat it out of my hand. Sometimes I think they're part shark when they start doing it. But more pets than farm chickens. Yes, my middle daughter would sit and pet Mrs. Cluckington all day. I have told people chickens are very much like outside cats. They'll come over to you. Sometimes they want to sit on you. Sometimes they want to be near you. But they're wonderful. They're wonderful animals. Okay, so cool. So we're starting to get some coolness going on with this guy. I think we got some goodness going on here. And what I want to do maybe a little bit is to... Actually, I should probably do the tie. I should probably do his tie. And what I'm going to do instead is a little bit more of his hat over here. I would do, I'm thinking about the tie. I'm thinking about what I want to do with the tie. How exactly do I want that tie to go? And the answer is, I'm not exactly certain. I think red probably is the right choice. It'll stand out. It'll be a pop of color onto the rest of the painting. There's a hat for you. There's a hat. Look at that. I don't even have the band up there. I guess I'm not sure what to do that band. The tie and this, I can do those both in Pyrol red. Maybe a nice maroon tie. So I've got... Could put a little bit of brown. If I put a little bit of brown in that maroon paraline, you know, it might tie in that shirt a little bit. But this maroon paraline is a bright color. I'm going to put this on here and let's let that dry and see what that looks like when that dries. It's such a bright color. Much brighter than you think. Hold on one second. I need to get a drink of water. Good call, though. I like the maroon, and then we can make this maroon up there, too, to match. Okay. Wow. I feel like I've been talking for like an hour. I don't know what's going on. Get a little bit of this light color. I want to put just... Oh, I can't... Yeah, I guess I can kind of do that. Put just a little bit of something here so you can see the curve on that side too. It has been an hour. I just looked. It's been an hour, and it feels like it's been like 15 minutes. It totally, to me, does not feel like I've been doing this for an hour already tonight. And that doesn't have anything to do with me. That has everything to do with you guys. I tell this to my team at work too. So many times, everything happens, and I'm just a cog there, for things happening around. It's you guys that really make this such a fun, interesting experience. So there we go. That's dry enough. That's not a bad color. That's a good color, right? That's a pretty good color. Let's do that. Well, in order to do that, I've got to make space. So, I don't know what I had this quinacridone rose on there for, but let's get that off of there. Oop, and now my whole palette just fell over. I don't know what that's about. That's gonna mean I've got to get a new paper towel. Maroon Paraline. I do like you, Maroon Paraline, but you are an aggressive color. A little bit of this burnt umber in there just to tone it down a little bit. Good, we'll go with that. What did I just paint? Oh, I was painting this hat. So let's paint a tie. Let's do that. So it's been an hour, and you all haven't noticed that it's been an hour. And the reason is because you guys have been helping out with the stream. If you guys are going to leave it up to me to talk the whole time about everything, you're going to go, oh my God, it's been an hour. It only feels like 3.5. All right, well, I try not to make it. I try not to make it like that, but you know how it goes. So we're going to have to do the same thing down here. We're going to have to get some a richer color mixture here. Nice and thick. Maybe even a little bit of that sepia in there. Just right along the side. Goes underneath that vest a little bit. I hope that's going to work. I hope that's going to work. It should work. It should work. It might be just ever so slightly damp, but it's going to work. I'm going to leave it be. Already it looks okay. It looks good. It looks good. It looks good. I'm going to put the band up here. Oh, no, I got to do this pocket. What's this called? Pocket hanky? I know there's a word for it. I almost said pocket protector. Then I almost said pocket hanky. It is a handkerchief, or probably when you were a gangster, it was a handkerchief. Now it's just a part of a handkerchief on a board. And trying to be very careful so as not to get anything wet and out of sorts, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a little bit of blue here, here, and here, just around this, and I'm going to blend this way out, and that's just going to make it, it's just going to highlight that there's a pocket stitched in there. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing down here. There's a pocket stitched in here. It doesn't mean we can't come back and color around this at some point. But it's going to have that hard line there from now on, and that's going to let us know that there's a pocket there. And we've definitely got some shading to do up underneath here, so I'm not that worried about it. In fact, we've got quite a bit of shading to do, don't we? We do. The dark red pocket square makes sense for his pocket square, since gangsters would use them to wipe off their knuckle. Oh, there you go. Oh, see? Now I'm learning stuff too. I like that. I like that. See, I'm going to put another layer of dark up here. I've already got some water here, so this is going to help it blend down a little bit. More of that fantastic phthalo blue. There's a lot of color there. I would rather do this in multiple layers than in one thick layer. This is the big thing that I have learned in watercolors. Many, many layers. It might take you 2, 3, 4 times as long to do it, but many layers is many times better than one layer. If you can do it in 4 layers instead of 1 layer, do it in 4 layers instead of 1 layer. Those 4 layers are gonna help preserve a lot of vibrancy. They're gonna help preserve energy in what you see. It's just gonna be so much better to do it in multiple layers rather than in 1 layer. Okay, so I'm gonna come up here now. Dry, dry, dry. Okay, cool, dry. I'm gonna come up here, and this is in a little bit of shadow over here too. I'm going to allow this to come up because I want to blend some of this out. So you can see, I don't know if you could just see it here. I'll hold it up and let you see it in just a second. I was just a little bit too late with this phthalo blue, and there's just the smallest tide line right there. The phthalo blue is very staining. I'm not even sure you can see it now. Oh, look at that's coming together now, right? Look at that whole side over there. It's looking good, looking good, looking good. Love it when stuff like this starts to happen and it all starts to really start looking good together. I get all excited when stuff like this happens. My wife is like, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "You looks like you start jumping around when things happen." I'm like, "Yes, because it's exciting." It's starting to look exactly like it should. Of course it's exciting. Why would I not jump around? How can I not? You have to. It's really starting to look good. All right, so this might have been a bit of a mistake because now I've got that pocket that's there that I've just kind of blown out. I forgot I had just done it. I know. The question is, how can I forgot? I just did it. But I'm going to have to come back and do it again. That's okay. That'll be all right. And yes, I do want a lot of lights and I want a lot of darks in here. I want my lights and I want my darks to mix. I don't necessarily want one area to be lighter and one area to be darker and have a unified kind of a thing. Some of the coolest things you see in watercolor are are where those lights and darks kind of mix and meet and touch and kind of do their own thing, right? So if you can get them to do it on their own, so much the better. Add a little water, drag a little color around, make something happen on here. It'll be so much better for it. So much better. The water can do 90% of the work for us. Can do so much of that work for us. All we got to do is let it do it, not get in its way. I don't want to get in its way. Right? So I've got a lot of lights and darks. I'm not particularly prescribing where one has to be and where one can't be. It's just kind of what it is. And all of a sudden you've got lighter and dark, lighter next to darker, lighter next to darker. This color's a little off. Yeah, we might have to come back and modify this a little bit. I don't know who his tailor was, but he's about to be shot. That's a terrible thing. I shouldn't have said that. That's terrible. I wasn't watching my colors. Don't shoot him, Mr. Gangster. It wasn't his fault. He's got a family he's looking out for. Just leave him be a little bit. I'm sure he'll be fine. He'll give you a really good deal on your next jacket. It'll be fine. It'll totally be fine. So Oji-san says, man, the suit colors are popping. The suit textures are popping. Yeah. That's that light and dark, that play of light and that play of dark. And I'm not doing it. I mean, I'm doing it, but I'm not doing it. I'm letting the colors do it. Light next to dark, light next to dark, dark next to light. Get some coolness in there where you can. And let the paint do the work, right? There's no reason the paint can't help out. We're trying to do everything we can to make the paint look good. The paint can do a lot to help us, make us look good. Should be some kind of symbiotic relationship here, I think. And now I say this and all of a sudden I'm going, how do I get this to be lighter? There we go. A big stroke up that way. Good. Yeah. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. A little extra color here. And I'm going to pull this without any more out to the side. In fact, I want to make sure that brush is clean. And just look and reassess. Look and reassess. Is it what I want? Is it not what I want? Is it close to what I want? Yeah, to me, that's kind of close to what we want, right? That's cool. That's neat. That back there is, I would say it's killer. I don't want anybody to get killed. All right, so I'm all wet down here. I've got to come back and do an alien, finish on the alien head up here. Let's do Payne's Gray. Come on, Payne's Gray. All right, so I need to look to see where there's some color needs to be. So he's got these big, high cheekbones. So I'm going to start by giving him these, I guess it's not cheekbone, this orbital socket here. Let's say it that way. All right, I'm going to give him this big orbital socket right here. And I feel like my brush is too big, but that's okay. We'll deal with it. And I want that to blend out, all the way out. And he's got one of these on the other side over here too, right? This orbital socket really comes underneath there. I'm hoping this is going to give him not only an alien look, but kind of a sinister look here too, right? A mean, angry look. All right, So there we got some under those eye sockets. Who was here? Oji-san, were you, did you say you were here to learn something about watercolor painting? I'm sorry about that. I don't know if this is a good one to learn. I don't know, maybe it is. You're just having to indulge my alien fantasies here. This might not be the best one, but I hope it makes you giggle. Nice gangster you can't you can't trust a gangster. He's probably from Chicago too. You know how people from Chicago are. Nobody trusts them. Let's see. He's got this eye. It's gonna come down like that, I think. What can I put my hand on? What can I not put my hand on? I should have left a spot right in the middle. Okay. Now. I just want to soften this edge a little bit here. Mostly a dry brush. I'm gonna run it right along that edge. And instead of having what looks like a super hard line there, it should soften it. Make it a little bit nicer to look at. I didn't say he was nice. I just said a little bit nicer to look at. And I want to make him nice to look at as I don't want him to shoot me. Oh, you saw, wow. Thank you. Wow, very generous. Thank you. I never ask anybody to do that, but you have done it. And so thank you. It's very generous of you. Very generous. You dig my style. This is so I will say it has taken me a long time to get to this point where I paint like this. I guess I've been painting like this for a long time. I just haven't quite had the confidence to paint like this in front of a lot of people. I've done for years and years and years. I've done more traditional things online and then kind of done my own thing in the background. Had a ton of fun with it. And now I think I'm in a place where I feel like I can paint whatever I want, wherever I want. The styles that I use, everything that I'm going to do will relate to any painting that you do, but they're just paintings that I look at this and I'm going to giggle every time I see this. And to me, that makes it worth it. It totally makes it worth it. I've got a bunch of mashup paintings that I want to do or that I'm going to do, and they kind of make me giggle too when I look at them. But the techniques and the style that I do all of this with are things that you can take into your everyday painting and everything. And that's not to say that I'm not going to do any traditional paintings at some point in time, right? But I hang most of these on my office wall at my work. And I think I can only hang up so many, artichokes and avocados and other things. I need to have some other interesting things to hang up. Some other interesting things to have discussions about, and so this is what I'm doing. I don't think I quite got his chin quite right. Let's thin his chin down a little bit on that side. All right, that's probably a little better right there. What I do need to do is do a little bit under. Oh, it's too wet. Okay, I can't do that. I'm going to do that in a second. We got some features on his face that we've got to do. While we're waiting for that, we're going to come back down here. Paint a little bit more in here. There we go. Would love to see. You'd love to see my take on a giant squid. Okay, so I've painted an octopus. I'm not afraid to paint a giant squid. Here's my problem with stuff like that. Not that it's too difficult or you can't do it or anything like that. My problem is going to be different than probably what you think giant squid pirate. So that would be better. The problem is you've got to paint something. I mean, you don't have to, but right, what you want to do is or what I try to do is paint something that's instantly recognizable, but fits on a normal sheet of paper. And a giant squid, in order to make it recognizable as a giant squid, it has to be big, which means you have to have more context around it, which means it has to be a bit smaller, and then you kind of lose the giantness of the squid a little bit as you do it. So I like where you're going. I just haven't quite figured out how to do things like that. And in a squid, it's long and thin, so you're already at a bit of a disadvantage as you're trying to get it on the page. But that doesn't mean it can't be done. I do like the pirate idea for the giant squid, I will admit. And if I could figure a way to do that, I would be happy to. In fact, I have done requests and put them on here. I think they are some of the funnest paintings I have done. Could put something in the foreground for scale. You just have large tentacles coming. Yeah, you could. Yeah, it could be grabbing something. I'm not saying it's an impossible thing to do. I'm just saying there's an additional difficulty in doing it, is all. But I'll take the I'm going to say I'll take the challenge. I'll take the challenge. I will seriously consider doing it. One, because I'm a big fan of giant squid, a big squid fan. And two, I like challenges. It might take me a while to think how I want to do it, though. You could put something in the oh yeah, and just have a large tentacle. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, you just said that. Yes, I'm just rereading what you said. Yes, it's got to be instantly recognizable as a giant squid. It can't just be a squid. Can't just be a squid. It has to be. You have to notice it as a giant squid. All right, I needed to add a little extra something on here. We got a little dark, and that's fine, on that side underneath his hat. We need to get something similarly dark on this side underneath his hat to balance him out a little bit. All right, let's see. We do have a couple of hands down here we do something with. So let's see, what are we going to do? Bottom side of fingers. I gave him only 3 fingers each here. So let's start with that. I don't want that to leave a tide line, so I'm going to blend this out a little bit and this one out a little bit. Let's see what we get with this. Whoop, whoop, whoop. And if at some point I move this, I have pieces of tape on my board here, so I kind of know how far I can move this painting as I rotate it around. But if ever this comes up and you guys can't see what I'm doing because I've moved it too far one way or another, somebody shout and say, hey, move that back in, I can't see it, and I'm happy to give it a little bit of move. Oh no, I've got to hit the hay, but I'll check on the finished product tomorrow. Ochi-san, thank you so much for stopping by. Of course, thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. I hope you can just come back and join another time. It's great having you in the stream. Hope you have a great night. Good sleep. I know sleep for me recently has been a good rest has been hard to come by, so I hope that you get some good rest this evening. And yeah, please come back again. Thank you so much. And while Oji-san goes and does that, I'm going to continue with some color here on these hands. I'm kind of not doing, I put on some fingernails, but I'm not going to paint those. I'm going to leave those a little bit lighter. Let's see if we can get any kind of decent three-fingered. I imagine this would be difficult to hold a gun with only 3 fingers. I don't know. Haven't tried it. I did have a friend who had 4 fingers. One got he had an accident at one point in time, but man, I think I knew him for 5 years before I realized he only had 4 fingers. He was so adept at using them. Yokito says, what part of California am I in? I am on the central coast of California. I'm about halfway between LA and San Francisco, north of Santa Barbara. Because my wife asks that I not give the name of the town that I live in specifically. I'm not going to do that, but it's coastal California. Lovely place to be. I live a quarter mile or so, the closest spot to the ocean, or to part of the bay that abuts the ocean here at my house. I open up my front door every morning and there's the Pacific Ocean staring at me, which is actually lovely. Oh, okay, it's cool. Your son went to UC Santa Cruz, so that's not too far away. Whoa, too much water, too much water, too much water. My youngest might end up going to UC Santa Cruz. Not exactly sure yet, but it wouldn't totally surprise me. All right, does that look like a tie? Does it look like we have a tie there? There's a little knot in the tie as it gets tied. It's always a funny thing to say. There's a knot in a tie. We're tied. We're the tie ties. There's a tie right where the tie ties. A knot where the tie is. There's a knot where the tie is tied. Yes, I will admit I've never driven up to Santa Cruz, but I know where it is, roughly where it is. I'm not the biggest world traveler, I will admit. I like where I'm at. I like my little area of the country, my little area of the world, and so I don't travel too much. I travel a little bit. Sometimes I have to travel. But for most of the time, I just kind of stay where I'm at because I'm very contented to be where I am most of the time. Currently, you're out in Michigan. Okay, so upper or lower peninsula of Michigan? I'm going to try to guess. I'll guess somewhere close. Upper or lower? Let's play 20 questions. Yeah, you explained it enough. You don't need to try. Upper or lower peninsula? I'm going to guess lower peninsula because that's the obvious one, but in fact, I just said I don't travel much, and I am thinking of traveling back to the Midwest. I grew up in the Midwest. I'm thinking of traveling back to the Midwest this summer, and I might stop. If I do go back, I might actually stop in Michigan. Lower Peninsula. Okay, cool. East or West Michigan? I said West Michigan. That should clue you in. I have a little familiarity with it. Maybe not the most, but a little bit of familiarity. Sadiq says, I'm about 30 miles northwest of Chicago. Love the Midwest. I actually love the Midwest too. You all don't know this. I know Mr. Federal or Federal Agent. He's from the Midwest. He loves the Midwest too. East Michigan. Okay, so East Michigan. So the larger metropolitan areas are, of course, Detroit and Detroit metro area. It's a large area. Could be, I'm going to say it could be, as far north as Flint or Saginaw. But they're smaller. Smaller population base doesn't mean you're not there. Just means it's the chances are a little less. I'm gonna say. Where do I want to guess? I'm gonna guess. Well, I'm going to guess a Detroit suburb because that's where the odds are. If you're in East Michigan, that's what the odds are going to say. So where would be a good suburb in East Michigan, Detroit area? I'm going to assume it's not like Pontiac. It's not Belle Isle. It's not probably not Royal Oak. Probably not. What is it? Novi? Probably not. I don't know. Is it the Detroit metro area? Let's just go with that. Is it the Detroit metro area? I don't really want to put you on the spot. I know I hit some of the areas around there. I have family that live around Detroit. I have actually family that live on both sides of Michigan. Oh, it could be Ypsilanti. That's kind of right there. Could be Oakland. Nah. It is not. Oh, interesting. It is not the Detroit metro area. So I'm going to say then, I'm gonna send a shout out to some of my family, and I'm gonna say it is Grand Blanc. I was born in Detroit, though, oddly enough. Oh, there you go. I was born in Flint, oddly enough, and I'm glad I don't still live there. Michigan is lovely for part of the year. It's just it gets cold. It's very cold. This guy is looking a little menacing, I have to say. A little menacing. See, he's got his nose here. A little bit of something on his nose to straighten that up just a little bit. I'm kind of okay with his head here. His nose kind of sticks out now. I think once we get his eyes on there, it's going to look a lot better. It's going to look a lot better. And he's got, everybody has these lines around their eyes like this. All right, so I want to make sure he's got some on here. Best kept secret of the Midwest. Go to Minnesota along Lake Superior and north into Canada. It's like a different world. That's true. I live in a big city, not a suburb. To give you a hint, a big city in East Michigan, and it's not Detroit. All right, I might be flummoxed a little bit here. Big city. Gonna have to think what what other cities are there? Detroit, Flint, Saginaw. You're not one of the original members of the Bay City Rollers, are you? Which would be hysterical. Let's see, we've got some wood here. So when I try to paint wood, I try, as I'm getting back to painting here, the burnt umber works great for wood. However, you can get too much of it. And so when I do this, I try to throw in a little bit of ochre or sepia in here, just to give it some variation. In fact, I'm going to put a little sepia back up here. That's deep shadow back up there. You know, back where he's holding on to this. Big city. The next biggest city in East Michigan has got to be Flint, though, right? Isn't that right? It's got to be. There's a university close by. It's big. Well, but okay, the other big city over there is Lansing, but that's not East Michigan, though, is it? That's central. What other big cities are in Michigan? Trying to think. I'm stretching my knowledge of geography. Ypsilanti, but that's kind of Detroit. Or I would consider that Detroit. Maybe not everybody does. What else is over there? I don't know. But it's not Detroit. It's not the Detroit metro area. see, I'm going to make this wood right there too. I don't know if that's supposed to be wood, but I'm going to make that wood right there. Okay. Oh, I've got to. Well, you didn't give Central as a choice, so I went with. Oh, okay. Oh, Ann Arbor's there too. Yeah. Okay. So you're right. I didn't. My bad. So I'm assuming the answer is Lansing then. Lansing, which I've spent time in, which is actually a lovely city. I didn't give you Central as a choice. I didn't. What's wet here? So if we can do this a little bit, I've got this band and I've deliberately mixed up the colors a little differently here and a little differently there. I'm hoping it's going to add a little bit of interest to that band more than just, it looks like it might be a little too stratified there though. Oh, okay, all right. And now I've got to get some of this dark on that edge. That edge. I can pull this up along there a little bit. Right. That looks good. I love that band. I think the band looks great. Okay, so we've got quite a bit of metal here to paint. We've got some more to do. Obviously, right, the lapels need some work. I guess last week when I did lapels, the lapels were at the end too, and they needed work. State prison in my city. And it's East Lansing. I don't know where prisons are. I know where prisons are in California. Well, one anyways. I think that's it. Incorrect, not Lansing. Jackson? No, Jackson's tiny. That's kind of south central too. Big prison there. A prison. The hat can go with multiple suits like you originally there you go. Jackson. So it is Jackson. Is that kind of south? I guess you said central. You didn't say north central, south central, anything like that. Why am I talking myself out of all of these answers? I don't... Why am I doing that? I've been through Jackson. It's lovely. It's lovely. As it came through in the summertime, it was beautiful. But so much of Michigan actually is. The Midwest in general is quite lovely for a lot of the year. Quite a bit of the year. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's just a shame that they corner the market on snow and cold in the winter. I didn't say I had a large population. No. No, you played the game right. I talked myself out of everything or didn't give myself the proper choices for things. No. That's all on me. It's all on me. I'm just trying to give this guy a little bit of interest on his shirt here, on the collar. There's a little bit of work we can do here. Right, I imagine that the tie takes up a little bit of room under here, and so it's going to reflect the light just ever so slightly differently on his collar. Right, so I'm just going to do a little bit of stuff here, and I think that's going to help this. in the long run. Look at that. Look at the work on there. No, I think it looks good. I think it looks good. I could actually even probably gray this down just a little bit more. So this is my problem with watercolors, right? It's not really a problem, but it's a problem, right? I could sit here for 2 hours and just go, I'm gonna tinker with this, and I'm gonna futz with that, and I'm gonna change this a little bit. Actually, that little area right there does look really nice, and I'm gonna play with it for 40 minutes until I get it to where I think it's right. And then after 40 minutes, I'll go, I probably need 40 more minutes to get it right. Because you can just sit there and play and play and play. I'm just going to adjust the color of this sleeve a little bit. Right? It was a little too purple. Let's see if we can bring that color up to the rest of the blue, maybe a little bit. Push some of that blue down in there. Right, if I don't make this a really, what's the word I'm looking for? I leave this a little mottled in here like this. That's going to look better. That sleeve is going to look a lot better. Sleeve it does look better already. I need to darken the inside there to match, but I gotta wait for that to dry. Okay, I've got some lipstick to a shirt collar. I'm not going to, but that would be funny. Okay, so what I need to do, I'm gonna do this. Give me a little bit of color here on here and here, and we can pretty much be done with these. Right, that pocket needs a little color on it. Okay, cool. We got that. I guess I'm working in the blue now, so let's work on his collar here before we move on. I'm gonna have it darker down here at the bottom. Maybe a little bit more of that neutral in there. Good, good, good. And I'm going to allow this to blend towards the sides. That way it should be a little lighter at the edges. I'm trying very hard not to put my hand in that color. Very hard. It's very hard for me not to dip my hand in there. Like Jackson Pollock, that's become a staple of what I do, is I get something wet on this side, then try to paint over top of it and put my palm print in it. Terrible thing to do. And I'm not going to try to do too much with this. I'm going to make sure my color goes all the way to the edge so I don't have a line, but I'm going to let the paint do everything else. And I like that. I like how that's just done everything on its own. I'm going to leave it be. I'm going to not touch it. Some nights that's very hard for me to do, to mess with it. I'm going to not mess with it tonight. I'm going to try to do something similar on this side. All right, color up the middle. Let's let it blend out to that outside over there. Oh, I think it's looking good. I just want to pull that color out. Add just a little bit of water. Let it come out. So the way I think of painting a lapel, not that I have spent a million hours thinking about it. I don't want to pretend that I have. But if you look at a lapel, it's not always flat, right? Where it curves or where it gets to the edge of it, it sometimes curves up, or I should say it curves down sometimes in the center of the lapel. That could be represented by a little extra color here and there, right? What I don't want to do is have a little color here, then nothing, then color here. I want it all to kind of be connected. And I think when that dries, that's going to look good. I think it's going to look good-ish. I got just a tiny bit of a hard edge in there that I can see underneath there. So I want to leave that be, and I hope that dries and gets lighter. I've got a little bit of a sleeve to do over here. Come on, let's do the sleeve. I need to slow down for a second. I feel like I'm starting to speed up, and I don't want to speed up. It's almost 9. Oh my Lord, it's almost 9 o'clock. I've been going for almost 2 hours. Holy shimolians. Almost 2 hours we've been doing this, but it looks good. The creases look yeah. Oh, here and up here, they almost look proper, right? That's one of those things that we can learn. Let the water do the work. Because when you saw me put those on, I just kind of flicked the line on there. I didn't do a whole lot to do it. I kind of just let it do whatever it was going to do, right? And that was it. And I'm going to do the same thing over here too. Give me some of this color. Give me some of this color. Neutral is what we want. And I'm going to give a little bit of a line going like this, like that. A little over here. Something here. I think that's going to work. No, I really think that's going to work. I got to do something similar on this side, and we do have a hard line here that I really want to get rid of. Let me look at my reference photo. I have a kind of a line that goes here. On the tie too. Yeah, the little hole in that tie, right? It looks pretty good. It looks like you can look at that and imagine it's tied right there. That's the whole goal, right? You want to be able to look at it and go, yeah, it looks like it's been tied. If we can do that, we're doing great. If we can do that. If. It's a big if. Sometimes painting with me. It's a big if, but if we can do that, it's going to look right. All right, get some lines that come out here. A couple that come down. I'm not gonna touch that too much. This is dark underneath. Cool. We got some lines on this side now too. A lighter spot. A darker spot. Look at that. Looks good. Oh, it's looking good. It is looking good. All these little additions here can help to make it look more interesting. It just adds a little bit to it. You do have to kind of be careful, especially knowing the colors you work with, that you don't leave that super hard line on the end, but it's okay. Look at the collar. He looks like he actually looks kind of like he's been in a bit of a fight. Looks a little unkempt. Actually, what it looks like is we've been doing this piecemeal a little bit. That's all right. That's all right. We have been doing it a little piecemeal. I need to add, I don't have to, but I want to add a little extra color to his vest here. That might be a bit too much. Come on, Thalo, come off of there, Thalo. I'm just gonna, and I apologize for it, kind of, not really. Just trying to turn this to get the best angle that I think I need to get the paint down the way I think I want it on there. There we go. Okay, cool. So, got a couple of things to go here. I'm okay with the hat. I'm okay with the strap. Oh, his eye. We got some eyes. The bottom of his left sleeve looks almost blending in with his jacket. The bottom down here almost blends in. It does almost blend in. But you know what? It would kind of in real life too, right? Because there's not that, it's kind of both in shade down there or in shadow down there. So it could really look like it blends in until he moves it. Could. Not necessarily saying it does, but it could. All right, come on. Let's get some crazy alien eyes going here. This is a mix of kind of all of what I'm calling my neutrals over there. There may not be true neutrals, but Payne's gray, a little bit of that neutral tint, which I guess really is a neutral, and then a little bit of that sepia. Just trying to get a more true middle tone in here, and not trying to do anything other than add some color at the moment. Make sure everything I don't want to show is covered up, right? Ooh. Let's see. Usually the eyes, once you get the eyes on, it really starts to make it a little bit. Let's see how he looks. As I get some color on there, he looks mean. He does kind of look mean. All right, I'm going to use now, where's a spot I can use? Take a little bit of my turquoise. I do like my turquoise, and a little bit of Payne's gray in here. It's going to kind of make a gunmetal gray. Maybe a little bit more on the Payne's gray side. That's kind of, for me, a gunmetal gray. Let's hope that stands out from his... Ooh, might not be enough. Maybe we got to go even more Payne's gray here. Less blue, more gray to make this stand out. We can also paint it much lighter than his jacket, which it will need to be. And I'm just, same thing I did for everything else. Up a bit more near the cuff. Oh, here? The inside there? Is that what we're talking about? All of a sudden, I feel like I'm talking to myself and not looking up. Hold on a second. Let me get a bit of color on here really quickly. I don't paint a lot of guns. Not exactly sure how to color match this, and I don't want to get in his eye. But I think we're going to be okay as long as we get a little bit of color on here. And if this has got some Payne's gray in it, so it's going to dry quite a bit lighter than it looks right now anyways. All right. That's kind of a barrel gray color. Blue gray, they call it blue gray, right? Or blue steel. We might not have to do too much more with this. We might not have to. I mean, we're going to have to put some details on it for certain. But we might be able to get away with not having to add too much more color to it. I think you'll notice it. Your eyes will know when you look at it what it is. And we'll put some darker colors on there for accents. Okay, cool. Yoki says the bottom of his left sleeve looks almost blending with his up a bit more near the cuff. Up a bit more up here. Color looks good for and now you're saying the color looks good for a gun. the color is quite gun-ish, whatever that means. I don't know that I of all the things I've painted, honestly, I don't think I've ever painted a gun. I don't think I have. I may have painted lots of other stuff. Don't think I've ever painted a gun. Come on. Ooh, that might have been a better color. That might have been a better color. Where's my... Who keeps putting my sheet, my test sheet down here? Yeah, well, I don't know. That's going to be about the same, isn't it? It's not going to... Because we can always do this if we need to. Which is add a little black into it. And that will certainly give us gun-ish vibes. In fact, if we do that in here right now while it's still wet, we can probably already have some gun-ish vibes in here. And then this would probably be a good thing. There might be a lot less for us to do here. I was a little concerned, I will be honest, in choosing to put a Tommy gun in his hand. And I'm still not certain that it won't happen. That YouTube is going to say, yeah, I'm not sure this is an appropriate thing to have on our site. So we're going to take you down. But I did mark it as not for kids. So that might save me. All right, see, we got some gun-ish stuff going on here. Gun adjacentness. Get some of these colors going on in here. Really dark back there. This is funny because I grew up with guns in the house. Never had a problem with them, but I don't know that I've ever even looked at a gun in the past 20 years. I guess that's part of what living in California will do, huh? I mean, I'm not upset about it or anything. I think it's just kind of what it is. All right. So quickly, we got some gun-ish things on there. I guess maybe it doesn't look completely gun-ish, but it looks more gunnable. I'm making up words here. I don't know if you noticed that or not. just adding gun onto other words, and at some point it's going to work out. And while we're waiting for our gun parts to dry, I can probably put a little color in his eye up here. And this one too. Trying to think about where we might want that highlight in his eye to be. Something like that. Cool. Cool. Trying very hard not to go on top of anything. Gonna just very lightly gun colorize this. See how that goes. We still got 6 people here this evening, so first of all, for those of you stuck with me the whole time, thank you. We are getting close to the end, I promise. Your get out of jail time is coming up soon. Although I gotta say, I had a great time painting this. All of you have helped to make this such an enjoyable experience for me, and honestly, this is why I do it. I love these times when I come home from work. It's been a long day. Looking for something to do, and there's lots of times I go, I'm not sure if I want to do a painting, and my wife looks at me and goes, "Are you kidding me?" She goes, "You love doing those live streams," and I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of do." And she goes, "There's no kind of." She goes, "Are you kidding? You get so juiced up after you do it," and of course she's right. I really enjoy doing these paintings with you all. And I don't want to give these up. I'm not planning on giving these up because I enjoy them so much. They're just a lot of fun for me to do. They're a great creative outlet on a Wednesday evening, and they're just a great form of entertainment. So all of you who've helped with this tonight, thank you so much. Sudika says, you love watching my Sudika, you've been here long enough. You know I have no process. Now that's not really true. I joke at my own expense, and that's okay, but I generally try to think about how I want to do a painting before I start to do the painting. It's not to say in any way, shape, or form these paintings go the way I think they're going to go, because so often they don't. And that's kind of fun too. It's totally kind of fun when things kind of go off the rails. And when things go off the rails, you know what? That's watercolor painting, because I don't know. Maybe I've done a painting, maybe I've done 2 paintings where things have gone exactly the way I thought they should have gone from the beginning. But generally, you're going to start to do something and it's going to go off the rails quickly and and often. So you guys stay quiet and check because I'm too busy watching my. That's all good. It's all good, Sudike. It's all good. Yeah, like I was saying, so much of watercolor painting is understanding what has gone right, what has gone wrong, and recovering from those things that have gone wrong and strengthening those things that have gone right. And I can do that on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon. But I can tell you what typically happens is that I'm going to do something wrong on a Saturday, and I'm going to go, ugh, ugh. I'm going to get totally frustrated with it, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk away. And it's not the same after that. After that, it's just a painting, because I'm going to come back to it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to fix things. And I don't know that I quite learn as much doing that as I do on this Wednesday, where I've got to see it in real time and understand what I've done and be able to fix it right away. So you guys might learn a little bit from me, but I'm also learning quite a bit as I do this. And I think I've gotten to be a better painter because of it. I'm sure I've gotten to be a better painter because of it. All right, have I futzed around with a gun enough? Does it look gun-ish? I mean, you know what it is, right? You know it's a Tommy gun. Everybody knows it's a Tommy gun. I'll tell you what I do need to do is fix the stock over here. Doesn't look right to me. I don't know that that has helped a lot. I don't know that that has helped at all. Yeah, let's see. Maybe a little bit around his hand. Yeah, down there I think is okay. I'm a little leery to do too much on this brown, because the more I manipulate it, the more it's gonna pick up and it's gonna move, and then it's gonna look overly worked. And I don't want that. Okay, that little bit of brown there at the end helps it look better. What else do I need to do? Am I okay with his face? I'm kind of okay with his face. I don't think it's exactly what I thought it was going to be, but you know what? He doesn't look happy. I think that's the important thing. He definitely does not look happy. He looks alien, but he definitely doesn't look happy. And I give him a little something here. I'm gonna put this on, and I'm gonna smudge this up a little bit. Right? It's gonna be like a little extra mark on his forehead. Like he's kind of scrunching his eyes up like that, maybe. A little bit. I don't know. I don't know if that did anything or not, honestly. Let's give him a little something there. And now I gotta make sure that I don't get a big tide line right there. I'm gonna kind of leave his face like that. It looks a little beaten, a little worn, a little maybe worn out, you could say. But in general, I think I like it. I like his nose. You definitely can see his nose here. I like his mouth here, right? You can see the two lips. Oh, he's got to have a... What's that little thing here that everybody has? I don't know what that little line right there is called. It's got to have a little something like that. Actually, that makes him look a little bit more sinister even. We darken up a little bit under his nose. Maybe a little bit more here. I'll make it stand out just a little bit more. I guess we could really darken his nostrils in there. That we could do. All right, but in general, I like his face. I don't want to do too much more with his face. The eyes are weird for me. right? Alien eyes are always going to be weird because they're black. You have to show all your emotion on things other than the eyes because the eyes just are so, like, I don't want to say lifeless. The philtrum, interesting, a philtrum. See the things I learn. The philtrum. Okay. His philtrum. Yeah, the eyes are tough because they're black, but I can see. I hope you guys can see. They're not all black. There's black and there's gray and there's other stuff in there. Now, the one thing I don't like, I'll be honest with you, is I love that blue that I got on here, but it's got now too much blue. It looks like it's stained as soon as I put it on there, and I'm hoping to cover it up just a little bit. I'm okay with the brightness of it, but it looks like it's stained just a little bit. Oh, and I've got a couple of buttons we need to put on. I've got a couple of buttons. I shouldn't have painted that because there's a button right there. Buttons, same color, just a little darker. Very light. Right, you're going to look at this and you're going to go, how is this vest closed? I don't understand how his vest is closed. His vest is closed because he got a couple of buttons on here. Holding them closed. There we go. There's two buttons you can see there. I did have a button here and a button there and a button and a button. I don't think those are going to be game breakers. Oh, I love the way his jacket looks over here. This whole arm I think looks great. Ooh, I can't do that button. I can do part of that button. Can't really do any more of this button. This is going to get washed out. We'll put a half a button there for the moment. So anything else we need to do that I think I need to do on here, I think we're good. I don't really want to do more on here. I think what we have is what I'm going to go with, except for he's got a little bit on his hat where he's got that little bow. Is it a bow on the side of his hat over there? We'll just put that on like that. Cool. All right, I'm going to sign it, and I'm going to say this is pretty much done. And man, I got, where am I going to? Look, I got a ton of blue. There, let me do it this. Look, I got a ton of blue. I don't even know where it came from. All right, cool. I like this. So a little self-reflection here, and while I'm waiting for his eyes to dry, we're gonna put yes. What about the highlight in the eye? Thank you. We're gonna get to it. I'm gonna do a little evaluation here while we're waiting for that. And here's the evaluation. I actually like the suit. The suit to me is over the top, bonkers, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I think our shirt in here really does need to be darker inside those sleeves. Could be darker as it goes back in. Kind of like our collar up here could be darker a little bit. But I hold it up and you can see it. It's subtle, but it works. I think we could push that a little bit further even. I like his hands. I don't love his hands. I got a little lost in drawing his hands, but that's okay. I like his hat. I like the hat. I love the shading underneath. I actually like the band up here. I think it looks great. I love the tie. And I love the layering on the suit, right? The whole suit may not be perfect, but I love the layering on the suit. I love the dark next to the light, next to the dark, next to the light, next to the dark. This side over here, probably a little better than this side. But as you come across this way, then you know where that lapel is. You know where this sleeve is. Different than this panel, different than the lapel. The vest is in two pieces back there, and then this is on top of it, which is this is underneath that. Right, and his arm here, you see it goes into deeper shadow over here. I think it's all fantastic. You put this piece, 5 or 8 or 10 feet away, and you look at it from across the room, everybody's going to go, wow, that suit is phenomenal, right? The gun looks okay. You saw me do it. Mostly I did it all wet. I put gray on, then I dropped in some black around there. And look, here's what you need to know about the Tommy gun. This is where bullets come out. This is that huge circle that's on everything. You got a stock here and a stock here, and there's some machine-ish parts on here. It kind of works. It just kind of does. So I think I'm already, oh my Lord, I'm at 2.5 hours almost. Wow, never did I think this was going to take 2.5 hours. That's okay. If I were going to take another half an hour, 40 minutes to an hour, I would totally darken these up inside here. I'd probably darken up around here. Look, his neck underneath there is pretty dark. I'd probably darken that up a little bit. And I would definitely do a little bit more with his eyes, which I'm hoping we can get a highlight on here on his eye, and then let's do something similar on this side. Let's give him a little something down here too. There you go. I think I don't want to do too much of reflection on this side. Maybe that's a little darker underneath this hat over there. This side a little bit more in the light, so we'll give him 2 things on that side, and that helps to bring his eyes out a little bit. But I'm tickled with it. I think it's pretty good. Here he is. He's too big, actually. The nose, the face. Look at the jacket, the hands holding that Tommy gun. I think he looks there. That's as much as you can get on. I think we could probably put it down like that. Okay, that's it. Next week, I promise, maybe no more aliens. I promise there might not be aliens next week. But don't hold me to it. I don't know what we're going to do next week. But it's going to be fun. So be ready to enjoy an hour or 2 on a Wednesday evening. Until then, I want to say thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Sudoku. Oh my God, Sudike. Thank you, Yoki Toast. Thank you, Federal Agent. Thank you, Oji-san, for the $10. Very generous of you. Thank you so much. I hope that you all can join me back here next week when we get to do this all over again. But until then, I hope you have a great rest of your evening. Hope you have a great rest of your week. Until next week, thanks so much. Bye-bye.